Did you? I'm so jealous. PB&Js are kind of my favorite.
I half the jar of peanut butter.
Put her up.
I mean,
what kind? Natural or Skippy or?
Of course, natural.
No Skippy.
No, God. No.
Skippy's got magic in it.
No, really.
I love Skippy.
Oh,
creamy.
You could get an organic creamy from Whole Foods that actually tastes sweet-ish like Skippy.
I'll do that too. Can we do a taste test with like 19 different flavors?
Right now, I can't even think of peanut butter.
Did you really have that many?
I'm sure that I ate. I just was like.
I'm not judging you. I'm proud of you.
Oh no, I'm proud of me too. I'm just trying to think. It probably was half a jar.
You're an impressive lady. You are an impressive lady. I dig it. You guys see how chaotic all this stuff is?
It's actually not that chaotic. Well, it's just chaotic when this is going on.
Right. It's kind of fun, but I just wanted to see like what it would be like to have a little bit of a live thing and see if anybody enjoyed it. And if you guys hate it, we'll know because there'll be nobody watching.
That's right. 31 people have stuck around.
So. Yeah. I think there's actually more than that.
Just play to this camera, not this.
Sorry. I'm still learning.
I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, everybody. All right. So are we ready to jam and jump into this?
Yes.
Okay. Let's check in with a little bit about what we have going on, right?
Hit
you
it.
Ready for that?
Yes.
Hit it. So this thing, this giant thorn in our side is actually available now.
Yes.
You guys, zip it up over there. This is available now, but only through thegooddog.net. Right? So the Good Dog...
Right now. So maybe by the time this broadcast comes out, it'll be ready on the Good Dog Way, but I'll link it up.
Right. So this is the long-awaited e-collar DVD. Mm-hmm. This is the first time, not the first time, but this is kind of like the official announcement that there's actually some people have already ordered it. Some smarty pantses have like snuck in, right? They snuck in. So the e-collar DVD hard copy, right? Front, back, middle, I think a cookie fell out. All this, 3 CDs stacked in there, 5 hours, amazingness, start to finish. It's crazy good. We've been waiting a long time. It's officially available on thegooddog.net. Just go to the store and then choose which format that you want. Well, look at that. All right, so.
9.
Belle, don't you hassle Cujo.
She's hassling him.
I know, they got a thing going on.
Definitely have a thing.
So this is like, we have to like acknowledge this is pretty freaking exciting.
Exciting.
This has taken such a long time and we're so excited. Yep. So it's actually available. Anybody that wants to download, anybody wants to order the hard copy DVD, it's here. You can do it. By the time this comes out, hopefully it'll also be available through thegooddogway.com. Yep. But if not, you can always go to thegooddog.net and go to the store and then select it from there. It's amazing, and we can't wait for you guys to get it. And all the feedback so far has been fantastico,
awesome. Yep.
right? So that's awesome. Beyond that, we've got Shadow Student Sean here, SHAWN, not just me like,
It's really easy to remember that name.
Yeah, not just me talking to myself and like, I'm going to teach you something. Yeah. Anyways, so Sean is here from Arizona, and she's fantastic. She attended T3
just in December. Yep.
And she's awesome. She's worked with horses all of her life, and is really moving into the dog world. And so she's here to pick up some more details and inside tips and tricks and all the good stuff and the magic. And so that's pretty cool. It's always nice to have somebody around to be able to, share and add some extra energy to the group. So that's been fun. And I don't have a lot of notes for what's happened this week. Anything you want to add?
Let's jump in, because last time it was an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, but that's because I screwed up and I did long form questions for everything. So we're going to have like more time. You're going to be like, we need to fill time. Trust me, it's going to be.
We never need to fill time, especially because we have Cece coming.
Cece could like change the whole game.
Take over the whole thing.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to just jump in.
All right.
Here we go.
Let's do it. Question number 1.
No!
Oh, go ahead.
It's our first episode.
This thing, it's freaking me
Yeah,
out.
don't be freaked out. Don't look at yourself.
They're doing Periscope at the same time, so people are watching this live, and it's freaking me out. It's
Trust
just
that
I
you
see
can do
those
it.
hearts just going and going.
That means love. So yeah, it just means
Jeff
love.
is doing a Q&A now if you need to ask a Q.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. The Periscope battles continue.
No,
so,
actually, this is his time.
Yeah?
This is Jeff's time, yeah.
Great. So we're going to do a little head-to-head, see what we can pull
See
out.
what we can pull out. All right.
Lots of people go on here and they're like, Jeff's on Periscope,
Yeah.
but we're jumping to you. We're like, yeah, okay. Hey, everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog. And this, to my right, is the lovely Laura Morgan, right? And all this good stuff, this Periscope and monkey business and everything else you see and don't see is The Good Dog's Q&A Saturday episode number 71.
Woo, look at you
Boom.
go.
Look at that. It
Did
only
awesome
took me
today.
71 episodes to figure out how to hold my fingers up accurately. So, like, I
But
appreciate
remember,
your patience.
you failed algebra, so that's why you can't hold up your fingers.
I got out with basic math, as we've talked about, right? So, like,
Yeah.
right, don't hard time me. All right, lady, let's jump into some questions. And I just want to preface this with these are some of the harder questions. I haven't had such a hard time, like, putting, like, some notes together, and I don't know what the deal was, but, like, some of the questions are a little bit, like, confusing and, like, and maybe I'm just being a big baby, but let's see how I do. Or let's see how, like, maybe I'll just pass the buck.
I think you might be much better than you think.
Well, I love that enthusiasm and optimism. Here's to that.
All right, guys.
Hearts it up for us. Okay.
Periscope. Question number 1.
Yes, go ahead.
This comes from Lori Shermer. Lori says, my question is about on-leash reactivity towards other dogs.
Yep.
Background, I have a foster dog from the local shelter. She's estimated to be 2 years. She was bred and came into the shelter dirty, underweight, lots of calluses, and very scared. She very quickly
Yep.
blossomed into one of the sweetest dogs I've been around. She loves humans, doesn't jump, and is very well behaved wherever we go. House, car, businesses that allow dogs.
Yep.
She's very food motivated and responds well to training. We get lots of exercise together and she's phenomenal on leash. Except if a dog's too close, then she loses it, whining, crying, barking, lunging.
Yep.
I'll add that our shelter has a play yard, and though she was hesitant participant in the beginning, she's come to her own, does great. She plays and is appropriate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are they here?
hold on, guys.
Cece cannot be here already. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Shall we, you want to pause that?
Okay.
Right, now we're talking. Boom, boom, boom. So we only have a few minutes, but we just wanted to say hi and that we missed you. I know I saw you a couple days ago.
Yes.
But I didn't have time to like bring you in and all
Yes.
that. So, but today we've got a little time, so we wanted to
Okay.
just bring you in
Okay.
and make sure you were doing okay.
Yes.
You doing okay?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we've got this camera and we've got this camera. So we
Okay.
can look wherever we
Cece,
want to
look
look.
how good you look. You look so... Cece, did you do your hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great smile. Aw, hi. So everybody's saying hi to you. That laugh, right?
Life.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cece,
Yes.
tell us something that happened to you this week.
Anything
This
interesting?
week, just on Tuesday, I went to do radio show.
To do a radio show?
Yes, for the campus radio.
For who?
Campus.
Campus.
Campus radio,
Okay.
yes.
For what? For
which
what
campus?
school?
Los Angeles Valley College.
Oh, cool.
wow.
Nice. Nice.
I am the star at the radio station.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. What did you talk about?
On Tuesday, I woke up 5:30, take
Yeah.
a shower.
Yeah.
I be there 6:30.
Yeah.
But the sheriff
The sheriff.
didn't open the radio station for me because they didn't get the list for the show.
Oh, they
Okay.
didn't know you were on the show.
Yeah, they don't have the list
Yeah,
of the
The list.
professor.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yes.
What were you talking about? What were you going to talk about?
General
General talk?
talking, and mostly reading.
Reading?
I'm reading like a talking.
Oh,
Okay.
When I read something,
Yeah.
like I'm talking to the
Oh.
Listener.
Any specific subject you were talking about?
anything come, I can talk.
You
You're
just
Just
He's like, "Go."
improvising. He's like, put me in front of the camera and I'll talk, right? Awesome.
nothing else.
Nothing.
Nothing else. Just look forward for the school.
Oh,
For
school.
school?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
does school start again?
Last week.
Oh, it starts.
Last week.
Oh, great.
And
Okay.
tomorrow I will do radio show again at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
But tonight I will call sheriff about do they
Call
get
the sheriff?
Do they get the list?
Get the list so I don't have to wait.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. The
okay.
list for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they get the list, I can go tomorrow and make the show.
Got it. Wow.
Don't mess around with
Don't mess
CC
with CC.
and the freaking list, okay?
You can mess around, make fun with me.
Yeah.
No problem. Love the world. CC. CC, talk to you later.
All right, CC.
Okay.
We're going to have to get
Okay,
you out of here,
get the
get you
shop.
back to work.
Okay, get
Good
back
to
to
see
work.
you. Yeah.
Make some penny for living.
We're going to try.
Okay, goodbye, audience. Okay, see you later. Okay, thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Cece.
You're welcome, Laura.
It all gets a little bit different when CC arrives, but you know what? It's like one of those things like
The most worth it.
he's such a disturbance, but he's such a positive, sweet guy that we're happy to have that trade-off. So, all right, Lori, let me see if I can get into this and actually do my job. So, first of all, I'd love to know what tools you're using, right? So you're talking about leash reactive dog, food motivated dog, and so my question is, what tools are you using? And if you're using like flat buckle, martingale, harness, anything like that, and you're using food, then like your biggest issue is leash reactivity. All those tools are going to work against you, in my opinion. The harness is going to work against you, the flat buckle collar, the halty, the martingale, and the food is going to amp the dog up, and it's not going to give you the whole concept that you're going to hear over and over again. It's like, we need to redirect, we need to counter condition, we need to work under threshold and teach this dog, dogs are nice things, right? If that's what you're going with, and I don't know for sure because you didn't clarify all your tools, if that's what you're going with, you're more than likely going to continue to struggle. And I don't mean that to be nasty. I just mean that that's what we see all the freaking time, right? So,
Even though she's good socially,
yeah,
the dogs like that, it's so different once they get on leash, especially if they've spent time in the shelter. There's been a lot of barrier frustration.
yeah, like building that up.
Exactly, and like I'm not sure. Some dogs are weird. Some dogs like do bad stuff. So, and the best thing you can do is, even if you don't want to do, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's great. I mean, if you want to like rock and roll,
I was just gonna say prong. Get her on a prong, basically.
of course you are, because you're smart. So here's what I've got for you.
Just because a full e-collar might be a lot, just.
Right,
them.
right. So basically what I've got for you is that if it's just food and a non-training collar, that could definitely be your issue, right? Like every client that shows up here with, our dogs are reactive. The dog's on a harness, the dog's on a flat buckle collar, and the dog has either been using food or tons of praise and excitement and has kept the dog aroused, and there's been no consequences for poor choices, no structure, no real like good stuff, and the dog's just stuck cycling, right? So we don't want that. So what we would go to, anytime we have reactive dogs, we go to prong collar at least to start, and prong collar for many of these dogs will be enough. If it's not enough, if you put the prong collar on and you watch our videos, maybe you could link it up, our prong collar video, we'll teach you how to actually condition the dog to the prong and then actually work your dog through like prong collar like heel and then corrections for looking at dogs, all that stuff. Now, if that gives you what you want and your dog is like miraculously fixed, which a lot of dogs are, perfect, you're great. You should watch more of our videos to learn about using space to help with reactivity, right? Learning some different, there's a lot of different nuances, and if you watch our Q&A and the rest of our videos, it's just about everything we know has been shared in there. Beyond that, if that doesn't get you what you want, I don't know whether you're able to use, I don't know if you're down to use, but for reactive dogs, we always go to e-collar training because it always de-escalates dogs better than even prong collar, even though prong collar is like on the hierarchy like 10,000 times above any of the other tools I just described. So try a prong. If that doesn't give you what you want, continue to use a prong, add an e-collar, watch our videos. Laura will link up for like our do-it-yourself videos, and then you can go from there and like decide what you want to do. If you're not down with any of those tools and they all seem mean, harsh, or negative, or your shelter won't allow you or anything like that, chances are, and I mean this in the kindest way possible, you'll probably be stuck. Just because that's what we see, and that's primarily what we deal with all the time.
And it's so hard because probably a really great dog, I mean, is a great dog. Like you said, dog can be in public, the dog can be like doing their thing.
Yep.
But just remember that reactivity is not just a dog that's just, dogs. It's like anxiety. I'm not sure what to do. She's great in all these other situations, which means that she's just unsure about this dog. So
and unsure about really listening and giving into direction that you're asking. You know what I mean? So if you're using tools that aren't enabling you to have a gateway to connect with the dog and communicate, you're toast. I hope that makes sense. Like, you could have all these protocols in place, and if you can't get through to the dog, that state of mind's gone, and it's going to just, like, especially with these intents, I think it's a pity. You're kind of stuck and just going to cycle.
We see those great dogs all the time.
Yeah.
They're great at everything. Walks are the bane of their existence. We put a phone collar on them at the very least and just add a little more structure to their walk.
Yeah.
So they're not pulling, they're not marking, they're not pulling to bushes, they're not doing all this stuff. They're not loose leash walking. They're walking right at your heel.
Please don't loose leash walk.
They're walking right at your heel, and you're like you're leading them in the best way possible, and then the reactivity tends to go away. You know, you have to correct for it and all that stuff, but these good dogs, like, it sucks that they have to live in that freaked out place on a walk every once
It's
in a
an
while.
anxious, stressed out, nasty place to be. There's your second napkin. It's clean too. Okay, so Lori, I hope that helps. And like I said, the right tools and the right strategies make all the difference in the world. If you're reluctant to use those, you might find yourself stuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to be honest.
Thanks, Lynn.
Cool.
Let us know. Question number 2
Number 2. Oh, I've got the hiccups, dear Lord.
comes from, can you move your,
Yeah.
comes from, Jan. Jan says, I have a problem with my dog having a fear of people in general. She trembles, tucks her tail, and has even peed herself if I have her sit and tolerate someone touching her. Even children. I'll get your water. Gunshots scare her. She has separation anxiety. She's obedient. I take her everywhere I can, but the fearfulness really causes both of us stress. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one when you're hiccuping too. Let me see how I do with this. Okay. Guys, hang on one second. So Jan, fearful dog, trembles, pees when touched. First of all, I wouldn't have people touch your dog, right? It's a trust breaker. So I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the dog to be desensitized and comfortable with people.
Yeah.
Your dog's telling you, holy shit, this is the worst thing in the world.
Too much for me.
Too much for me. I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared. And now I don't trust you because you're the one putting me in that position. And I'm not being harsh on you. I'm just saying, like, that's the perception. So I wouldn't do that even though I know your intent is good.
Yeah.
Another thing is, like, to set appropriate expectations, because so many dogs come out genetically super fearful or experientially fearful, or a combination of the two. Right. There's plenty of dogs you could put in front of us and we could train them for a month and they're still going to be highly anxious, nervous, fearful. They're going to be better, but it doesn't mean that it's going to take them to the promised land and all that stuff. Like, let's get rid of this miraculous kind of concept of, like, if you're calm and assertive and if you use the right training, every dog is healed. That's not the case. Dogs are dogs just like people are people. They carry baggage, both genetically and experientially.
Right.
And so there's a ceiling that we often hit, whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else. And you can do your very best work, therapy, self-development, whatever for you. You can do your very best work for the dog and the training, and you still may hit a ceiling where you're like, my dog's still fearful. And that might just be
your dog.
Yeah, and you can just keep working, getting them the best you can get them, but you're going to probably hit a ceiling there. So that's an important thing, so you don't beat your head against the wall and you're not overly demanding on yourself or your dog and end up in frustration land or anything like that. So beyond that, watch our free videos, link them up, and just train her up for confidence, right? When we get fearful dogs, we don't do any kind of like massive different protocols. We do like sit, down, place, recall, immaculate heel, thresholds, crate training, and we look for all the moments where the dog is like, I'm so scared, I want to do something else. And we say, no, we're going to override that. You have to do what we're asking. You have to do the training. You have to do place command. Even though you want to flee, you have to do a sit, even as I walk around you and all you want to do is run away. You have to recall to me, even though you're like, I don't want to recall to you. All of those things start to build confidence and break down the past associations of like, I'm afraid and I run. I'm afraid and I flee and I create distance and all that stuff. So that's really my best recommendation for you, is to have appropriate expectations while still being super positive and challenging yourself and your dog to get better and better. Don't let people touch her, and then do a ton of training to try and build confidence and see where you're actually able to get to with her. Cool? Please fill more in so I can eat while you talk.
The biggest thing I think with nervous dogs, the biggest mistakes, and it's not mistakes like, how dare you make a mistake, but man, I would do it. If I had a nervous, insecure dog, I'd try to love them better. I'd try to make people come up to them and like, oh, I'm going to get them used to it. If I didn't train dogs, it's exactly what I would do. Let me give them more food. Let me be softer with them. Let me talk to them, you know, in baby voice. Like all these things to kind of like, to break them out of their shell.
Bridge the gap.
And it's a similar thing with humans or with kids. If you have kids that are nervous, shy, insecure, you can like almost like do that to kind of reinforce that stuff, or you can strengthen yourself up, ask just as much of them, you know, with limitations, of course, depending on the kid or the dog. You ask just as much of them, hold them just as accountable, and it just builds confidence. So all of this stuff in the free videos are like sit, down, place, thresholds, walk. That isn't because we know your dog's obedient. Your dog is probably really obedient and can do everything and is eager to please. A lot of these like nervous dogs are like, okay, what do you want me to do? Because they're kind of insecure about stuff. So it's not though about the obedience. It's about you bridging state of mind. So it's a bridge to getting their state of mind more confident. You tell them, you come to me, and it's non-negotiable. And the dog's like, I usually flee, but I'm going to do this because it's non-negotiable. I know it sounds counterintuitive because you're correcting a dog that's nervous, shy, insecure. But the reality is they start like feeling more confident because they're actually doing stuff of their own accord. They're actually coming to you.
Because the training's overriding it.
Yeah, the training overrides. And then all of a sudden, just like people with therapy, you practice a certain behavior over and over, a habit or a thought pattern or something like that, and soon it just is what you are. So, like Sean said, the dog may only get so far, but you could have a dog that's hyper obedient and super sweet, and you also, just one more thing while you finish your hookups, you also want to really advocate for her. And Sean already touched on that, like people touching her and stuff is a no-no. Definitely a no-no. Right now, it's all about your guys' relationship, her feeling more confident. If people come up because she's cute, can I pet her? Nope, she's in training. Really advocate for her. Then she starts looking at you like, wow, this person like takes care of what I really want. Yeah, it keeps me safe. I'm going to feel more comfortable around people. I'm going to feel more, that's how you build the confidence and comfort around people, not by making them pet her. So we see it over and over. So
I hope that makes sense, guys.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It can be super counterintuitive. Is it water time? I don't think I've ever had hiccups before on the show.
Take the water. All right. Thanks. Good luck with that. And say goodbye. Bye. Question
Armando.
number 3. This comes from Armando. Armando says, hey guys, thank you for taking my question. You've answered a few of them in the past, and they've always helped me tremendously.
Awesome.
Here's an important one for me. I do board and train, and I'm currently working with a pit bull mix with very strong and intense leash reactivity towards other dogs. He's fantastic in the house and around kids, even does well with other dogs inside the house after an initial outburst. He'll quickly calm down and ignore them soon after. However, when we walk outdoors and he sees a dog at a distance, he goes crazy. Barking, high-pitched yapping, lunging, heavy drool forms around his mouth, and he may have bitten his tongue a few days ago since I noticed there was blood coming out of his mouth.
Wow.
Another time he reacted so badly, he scratched his neck with a prong. I've had to stop using it until the scar heals.
Wow.
He attacks the leash but doesn't redirect. I've dealt with with reactive dogs in the past and been successful at turning them around, but I'm struggling with this boy. In the past, I've worked for long stretches of time with reactive dogs, helping them to work through their reactivity until they're calming from the mind. But this guy, he's found himself quitting before making a breakthrough because of the intensity.
Huh.
He fears he's going to hurt himself. Ooh, Armando.
Armando fears that the dog will hurt himself.
Will hurt himself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Armando, first of all, so glad that we've been able to help in the past.
Yeah,
it's really
awesome.
cool. I don't know where you live, but it always thrills us that people have gotten some value out of this, and it's been able to help them with their dogs, and you're a trainer, so that makes me feel great. Here's the truth of the matter. So you're on prong. We always go to e-collar with reactive dogs, always. And we may even do it the very first session, because prong collars, as great as they are, can amp a lot of dogs up. That constricting action.
Amp reactive dogs up.
Yeah, that constricting action, like this, boom, 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 when a dog is already starting to get aroused, can work against you. Not every dog, a lot of dogs, it'll bring them right down, but there's plenty of dogs, especially these high drive, crazy pitties, that'll lift them up, and you'll actually have a much worse situation. So for us, if we go out with the dog and we find that we're having to really crank on the dog, or the dog's really out of its tree, we immediately cut the session, go to e-collar, and start doing e-collar heel. The reason being is that e-collar heel de-escalates, relaxes, chills out, and gets a dog into a mode in a way that a prong collar, because here's the whole thing, I can't demo so well on Laura, but a prong collar, if I'm trying to get her to not look at something, or I'm trying to get her to move back in position, I can't pull her back like that with the prong. That pressure conversation doesn't work very well. But with the e-collar, I can share pressure that tingles like this, and then just whisper with the the prong about where I want her to go with that. And that's a very different reaction and conversation with the dog, and it will de-escalate most dogs. Now, once you get that dog to a place where you're able to correct, you're off pressure and you're correcting for e-collar stuff, then you can start correcting with a quick tap for looking at in an untoward fashion at other dogs, right? Which is our basic program, but that in conjunction with using space. Don't pressure the dog. Don't put the dog too close to another dog initially. Work at distances. Work around dogs that aren't snotty brats. And get the dog to where here's the deal. Get that e-collar heel immaculate. Dog's walking like a champ. Bam, first step. Go out. Now we're healing. Dog looks over at a dog across the street. No. Find a level that the dog cares about as quick as possible. What should happen is, if your timing's good and your correction level's high enough, the dog will turn away from the other dog, right? And if he doesn't, dial up, repeat command, no, and get the dog to stop looking. That dog is not allowed to look at other dogs at this point because he doesn't know how to do it in a healthy way. It's going to get him into trouble, escalate him, arouse him, and cause problems. Now, all that great stuff I just said, if you can't use an e-collar, for whatever reason.
If I do say so myself.
Well, I mean, that's our program, right? So, but if you can't use an e-collar for some reason, for where you live or of your client or whatever, then I would try a dominant dog collar. And what I'd like to explain with that is that you can go
dog collar and e-collar.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do, right, that's the best. But if you're limited and you can only use a prong, then get a dominant dog collar. You can go on Learberg.com, order a dominant dog collar, and we've had plenty of clients like Tara Isaacson, who was using e-collar and prong and struggling with their dog, went to dominant dog collar, and basically it's a fitted slip collar that stays high up on the neck. You affix a leash to it. I'd have a leash on a prong and a leash on that, so I'd have two leashes. Your dog starts to see another dog. First of all, we got that heel happening that we needed, right? So that's the first step. Then your dog starts to look at another dog and amp up. You give him a small pop on the prong collar and it goes south. He starts to get worse. Then you calmly take the dominant dog collar leash and apply gentle pressure up and hold. You don't lift the dog off the ground. His front paws may come off a little bit. The whole goal is lift up and just be patient. Let the dog calm down. If he frazzles, freaks, just sit tight. Let him do his panicky, weird, crazy stuff. As soon as he calms down, set him back down. And basically what you're teaching is every time you go crazy, I'm going to apply this pressure and we're going to de-escalate and relax you. So that's my best suggestion for your situation. And I don't know all the details, so it's hard for me to give you exacts, but those are a bunch of different protocols you can use depending on what your situation allows. Anything you would add, young lady?
Well, Armando, what I would say is I want to make sure, in the nicest way possible,
This sounds like you might get a beat down.
I want to make sure that you're kind of kicking this dog's butt inside the house. Because if he's biting the leash, that's a really disrespectful behavior. Even though he's not reacting towards you, or redirecting, I'm sorry, biting the leash is like, get the off of me. That's what he's essentially doing. So we have dogs that go absolutely bonkers at dogs, but they're not coming up the leash like, you know, the leash is attached to you. Even if he's not coming up at you, he's still grabbing it. It's a form of protest, which is a state of mind that's a little bit brattier. And you said in here that he's fantastic in the house around dogs, around kids. He does well with other dogs after initial outbursts. That I don't like. There should be no initial outbursts. I know you're...
Armando,
sure
I think you've got Laura upset.
No, not at all. Armando, I'm sure you're doing great. I just want to make sure, because what happens is, like, I think a lot of trainers and a lot of owners go like, well, he's really good here. And so I'm going to kind of be looser on that. I'm not saying you're being loose, but like an initial outburst. If I have a dog who's great on the walks, aces everywhere, he can have an initial outburst maybe in the house and be silly around a dog and then calms down. But if I have a dog who's coming up at the leash on me and foaming at the mouth and giving me like hell on the walks, you can bet every little moment is locked down. So an initial outburst, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe excitement. It may be, it might be like a protest, whatever. I hope that you are giving the beatdown of a lifetime when you see that stuff. I don't mean a physical beatdown. I just mean a correction that matters. I hope he's on place so that he can't break place, so you can correct for that. Any outburst or any state of mind that's impulsive, we want to get rid of. That's why we talk about thresholds. That's why we talk about crate. That's why we talk about all these things that are seemingly inconsequential, but they're leverage. So then he's like, oh, I can't be in that out of control state of mind inside the house. That means I'm going to be tempered out there. Now, I would say you go to e-collar no matter what on that walks, like not even a question. But I'd also say, like, don't be loose on him everywhere else, because this guy outside who's biting the leash is not our sweetheart. America's sweetheart.
The truth is, Laura's right on the money, and that we're pretty damn firm on any stuff like, forget about the leash reactivity. Forget about like thresholds. Forget, like, what is this dog doing in like daily life with us? Is he reacting in the crate? Is he being a knucklehead there? Is he pushing past thresholds? Is he jumping on anybody? Is he whining or barking from the crate? Is he demanding? Anytime you see intensity and
even
pushiness,
minor stuff, Armando. Like, look for the minor, the most.
that's what you got to go after, because otherwise, all you got's the big stuff, and that's hard. So all we look for is like, where can we really apply enough kind of psychological leverage to get a dog into a space that when we get into the World Series, the dog's like, I know that you guys kick ass, and I'm not going to monkey around. So
and honestly, if dog owners knew the value of the little moments, the littlest moments,
what would happen?
we'd be out of business.
It's probably true.
We would literally have no business, because it's those little moments that add up. It's just like any of us.
And we try. We've been pushing this message for a long time.
Trying to put ourselves out of business.
Right? So, guys, I know this is like a sloppy picnic, but we're happy to have you joining us. I think our Periscope fans are fading fast.
Yeah.
We're down to 14. We'll take 2 of you. You guys can go to the bitter end. All
All
right.
about the replays, as Gelman said.
Right?
It's all about the replays.
Gelman. Had lots of talks about Gelman today.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Everybody's curious about Gelman.
All right, Armando, does that all make sense?
Sorry. I digress.
So let us know how it goes. The other thing is, what I'd love from you, if this is a board and train, you're still having trouble, and the dog's a 2 to 3 weeker, you want to keep the dog extra time because he's thwarting you, please take some video, Dropbox it to thegooddog.la@gmail.com. I'd love to see this. I'd love to see the walk, and I'd love to see inside the house. We could do we'll do a whole question of the week on this if you want.
Yeah,
we'll dive in deep.
We'll make you the poster boy. Honestly, we're so happy to like dive in deep and see what we can get.
Especially with a challenging case with a trainer who's doing great work.
We would love to help you out at a deeper level.
Yeah.
So if you want to take on the challenge, videotape some of this, show us what's cooking.
Yeah.
We're happy to try and like help work this through with you.
And that goes for anyone out there, trainer or owner. If you want, like, we do Skype sessions, $150 an hour to do training, more specific questions, if you ever want more in-depth help. But the caveat to that is that if you send us video that's awesome and you have very specific questions and you're willing to put yourself out there with the video and willing to ask the questions and have us talk you through it, we'll make a whole thing. We'll do it'll be free as long as we can film it and make it a thing. But you got to get us good video. Cool?
Right?
All right.
Quid pro quo, is that what they say?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Armando, and thanks for the kind love and kind words about us being able to help. It feels great to know that we've been able to help you. I really, really dig it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So.
It's Atomic 47.
Atomic, or Atomsic.
Sorry.
Did you write it wrong?
No, it's Atomsic. You're right.
Oh, okay. I got it. All right. So we've got question number 4. This comes from Atomsic. 47. Atomsic says, Hi.
Hi.
Lovely Laura and Sean. Hello. I have 2 male pit mixes that used to be okay together outside. They would play rough, but it was manageable with both dogs on e-collar. Now they're so amped walking from the side door to the backyard that I have a disaster when we get through the back fence. Okay, now they're so amped walking from the side door to the backyard.
It's a little bit of a confusing question.
Oh, I get it, though.
It sounds like it's talking about fighting, but it's not.
I make them go through the thresholds respectively and slowly, but as soon as we exit, I have a mess on my hands. So it seems like they're just, like, in that little space, probably the side yard that goes to the back fence. They're like, ah, like going crazy.
I thought he was saying going to get into that they were fighting or things like that, but it sounds like when he's trying to get out on a walk, or is it?
Maybe just to the backyard, just like.
But no, if you read the end, like, I think he's really talking about getting out on a walk.
Oh, okay.
Just check out, what's the end part say?
It says, we make them go through the thresholds slowly and respectfully, but as soon as we exit, I have a mess on my hands.
As soon as we exit. I think he's talking about walks.
It says, they are so amped walking from the side door to the backyard that I have a disaster when we get to the back fence. Oh, maybe it's where the back fence is where
It's a hard one, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Atomsic, you've made this one very challenging. We had to call in the CIA to try and decipher this one. Anyways, hopefully you guys can all excuse the Indian food stuck in my teeth. So, Atomsic, if we're talking about dogs being hyped up on walks, right? If that's what's going on, because you kind of allude to the fact that they used to be good and now they're not good, I'm hoping that you're not talking about fights. I hope you're talking about they're just kind of like feeding off each other and being hyped up. So if that's the case, then it's time to do the unthinkable, the annoying, the problematic, the much harder work, and that's to go to work on one dog at a time. No one loves it. It takes way more time.
Yeah.
You've got to change your schedule. But the reality is that if 2 dogs are feeding off each other and making things worse, you've got to nail each dog down individually before you're ready to put them back out. Who knows what happened? I don't know why they got loosey-goosey. I don't know what the problems are. But if we were like in a board and train and I went to go take 2 dogs out that were just trying to get together, like get their brains together, and I took them out, I could find myself, and I'm pretty damn adept at what I do, I could find myself overwhelmed with dogs hard timing me because the energy feed is so can be so intense. So So let's go out and let's really like, I'd love to give you permission to master each dog individually, right? And a couple different techniques besides just like food in my mouth. A couple different techniques. One of these things is called kind of like a step back recall. And I've talked about this a few times lately. But basically, say you're going out, you got one dog, I think your dogs are on e-collar, and you're going out, go out through the whatever gate, and you're headed towards the side, and the dog's nutty. You're trying to get him to heel, they're blowing through it. You're trying to get them to like not be nutty, they're blowing through it. Just do this. Let the dog step out in front of you, step back, roll up a little bit, recall the dog back to you. You only need to step back like 3-4 feet. Come. The dog's going to go, whoa, flip around, then take a few more steps. Dog starts to move out in front of you. Come. Make sure you find that level the dog cares about and just keep stepping back and recalling, stepping back and recalling. What happens is your dog's like, I want to get here, I want to get here, I want to get here. Holy crap, I'm recalling. Holy crap, I'm recalling. Eventually, it starts to dissipate that whole kind of intensity of like forward motion. And sometimes that works much better than just like correcting for heel or correcting for like arousal stuff. Basically what we're doing is we're using the kind of like recalls, these short step back recalls, as a means to bring arousal and intensity down. So I hope that makes sense. We've done that a ton with dogs that are like just hyped up. And if anybody's seen my St. Bernard video with, was it Iggy? I think it was Iggy, right? The big St. Bernard. So I go out and I start doing e-collar heel and the dog's blowing it off at 80 on a boss. So I started recalling him over and over and over again. And within 5 minutes, he's like walking next to me because it's taken all that juice out. It's like helped him relax. Now he can focus. So that's what I'd recommend. And I know it's not a perfect thing because having 2 dogs, you're like, crap, do I have to go back to training one dog at a time? And it's a lot of work. No getting around it. But I don't know what uncorked your dogs. I don't know what got them wacky. I don't know if it was just a slow slip and slide. But that's what I would approach. I would also make sure that you're never taking them out when you're not in a space to be relaxed, calm, and chilled. If you're anxious, if you're in a hurry, if you're moving too fast, that's going to absolutely light them up and you're going to be toast. So you've got to go out with plenty of time to be able to be relaxed. It counts. That stuff really counts. Let's see, recalling every dog back to you.
What about like a heel, if you're walking them out, just making sure they're both in heel, like walking them all the way to the back gate?
Well, that's kind of what I said, so I don't know if you missed that, but basically what I said was like, if you step out, and if heel isn't working on the e-collar and the dog's blowing through it all like revved up, then cool, that's not working. That's what I was saying, like with the St. Bernard, I was trying to get the dog to heel and the dog was like, that's great, but I'm headed this way. The recall is more powerful. Recall is more powerful. So that's why I would recommend that. Another thing you can do is look up Gary Wilkes, use a bonker in your backyard as you're working out your way towards the gate. A bonker's rolled up towel, rubber bands on the end. Your dog starts to get nutty, mark it with no, kabonk, and it's a towel over the head of the dog, and the dog's like, what the heck was that? That tends to bring dogs down considerably and help them out.
I just wonder, so
Let's hear it.
Kind of a vague question, right?
Yeah, it's a hard one.
It just feels, I'm just wondering, okay, so that's if the walk is at the back gate. Now let's just say he's talking about just like, they used to be okay in the yard, just
and
chill,
now they're nutty.
And now they explode once we go out the side door. Okay, let's go to that just in case we're not covering. So if that's the case, there's a couple things. It's kind of hard because the backyard is supposed to be like maybe more free time, so maybe they're just like, bah, right? You could make going in the backyard like the first 10 minutes more work time, so they sit at the thresholds. If they're on e-collar, you recall them both, and you put them in a down. And then you have them recall to another spot and put them in a down. Does that kind of make sense?
Sure.
Like where you're just kind of make the first few minutes more about work, just so they're kind of in work mode.
And they're
then,
not like, woohoo!
Yeah, they're not just like, bah, like crazy, like running for the fence or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you can let them be free and let them do their thing. But start more lockdown, if that's the case. I'm not sure which one it is.
It's a hard one because... Oh, no. It's a hard one because I don't think we know conclusively
Yeah.
exactly what's going on. Good?
It's not good.
Not good?
Phone. No.
She's
All right.
okay. She's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So, hope that helps.
We love our Q&A'ers though too. I wonder if there's any Q&A'ers. That's me.
That's who out there.
All right. Question number 5. Oh, Sonia.
Sonia.
Oh, Sonia. We're answering
What?
you right here.
This is cool, right?
It's awesome. All right. Sonia says, I have a 5-year-old GSD who I've been working with for the last few months. He's very high anxiety, but he's made great improvements with the e-collar work. He's got sit, place, heel, and working on recall using the long line. My question is, I would like to use his daily kibble as a training tool, but he's so anxious around food he won't even eat from my hand. He won't even eat chicken from my hand. I tried not feeding him unless he ate from my hand, but didn't eat for a week, and I gave up. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Those GSDs, they would do that, too.
Yeah.
How can I break through this anxiety, or should I just not worry about it and let him be?
What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so...
And then I've got stuff, so I'll chime in.
Yeah, Sonia.
Sonia in stereo.
Don't use kibble as a training tool. I mean, because you'd like to use it as a training tool, but he's so anxious around food that he won't eat from my hand. Honestly, I'd just skip it, if that's what you want to do. It only really makes sense to do it if it's going to work. So as trainers, what we do is it's not one size fits all. We kind of like have a sample platter, and we're like, okay, well, what works, which from our palate, what's going to work. If a dog's not food motivated because he's so anxious to use food, his daily kibble even, as a motivator or part of the training, it just may not be just the right thing for him. So I would do it with a GSD like this, anxious, that's our specialty. I would just get him just rocking on e-collar. Just all the commands, just work him. Tons of duration. So if you're at home and you're working him, 10% of the time of this dog should be active commands. He probably loves doing them. And then 90% he's just chilling out on place with the world going on around him. You can up the challenge by knocking on the door or doing any sort of things like that. But don't worry about the food. Just, I understand the allure of it because it's kind of like...
It's really popular right now.
Yeah, it's popular, and I can add it in, and my dog might be more peppy, or he might like... But he's just like telling you...
Or he might be more excited or more connected, or...
but we're not...
We're not seeing that.
Yeah, we're looking to get this guy less anxious. We don't need him right now to be more connected. What he needs to do is get past that anxiety, so then you can actually get the real dog who you can have a great bond with. That makes sense?
Man, do you even want to see my notes and see how close they are to what you just said? Let me just read this just so you guys can see. Like, I have to write notes. This girl, she just rolls, right?
Because I'm on the phone. I spent 3 or 4 years on the phone
You're
saying
also
this stuff.
a smarty pants with great recall.
Yeah.
So I said, we don't use much food with training because we don't like the way that it typically amps dogs up. So we only use it with like super, super aggressive dogs. Otherwise, it's all just leash and prong, e-collar, and a little bit of verbal praise, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would just focus on e-collar training, lots of duration, proofing, mastering all the commands with lots of distractions, let the food go.
Bang!
That's why she gets the big bucks.
Or I'm just a parrot.
No, you get it. Because to be honest...
Awesome, that's what I thought. He is doing great with the e-collar. Awesome.
Great.
So that's the thing. Guys, this is so great. We have Sonia right here.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it makes so much sense, and I totally get it to be like, but I want to do this. You know what I mean? But I want to, like, with Hercules, I'll be like, but I want to, like, play downstay. I used to be like, I want to play games at the park that are, like, obedience related to, like, get his mind working and it's hell for him. He's like, I'm a great dog. Leave me alone. Just let me run it after squirrels. Like, I don't need this. And so, but with CJ, that's what he does need. And so we see that with dogs all the time. We don't cookie cutter. We don't just like pick one thing just because we like it. We look at the dog. How are they responding? And then you go from there. So Sonia, awesome. Keep up the e-collar work. Speaking of.
Did he just take his e-collar off?
He does it all the time. He actually unclips it with his
paw. Are you serious?
Mm-mm.
So CJ, for both of you cameras over here, Laura's Cujo, smarty pants, Mr. Senior Citizen, just pulled his e-collar off, like literally unbuckled it, and he was like, I'm good with training right now. I'm going to sign out, I'm going to clock out, and I'll do my thing, and you guys let me know when you need me again.
He just is like he's just the class clown who does not want to be told what to do. That's his breed is literally that. So he loves the e-collar. We play all day on it, you know, whatever. But there's sometimes in the house where he just literally goes like this, and it falls off, and I'm like, Kojo, and I can't correct him for it because he took the collar off. So we got to go fix that.
Okay.
Sonia.
Anyways, Sonia, yeah, I hope that helps. Let us know, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Speed round.
Speed round. Okay, so we get 60 seconds for each of these questions.
Yeah.
Question number 6.
So you're just
Speed
going to
round?
keep me honest?
Yes, I'll do my best. Bill Jana says, my question would be, why does my dog hate it when other dogs try to sniff her butt? She's very interested and loves to run around, cool with sharing toys, wants to sniff other dogs' butts, but growls and snaps at them when they try to do the same. And if they're persistent, she comes to me and just won't play anymore. I have to go home because the other dog comes up after her and she growls and her hackles go up and all that stuff.
Well, Bajana. So, start the clock.
And action.
Good. So it's hard to say why, to be perfectly frank. Hard to say why. Dogs are individuals. Some dogs like certain things. Some dogs hate other things. Some dogs love a good old-fashioned butt sniff, and some really can't be bothered. So you might just have one that doesn't like it. It also might be because she's a female, and I'd keep an eye on whether it's males sniffing her that she's having a hard time with. Now, it may cross over, and it may be females as well, but there's not just a butt down there. Just to be clear.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's also genitals down there, if I can say genitals. And so she may be not feeling so comfortable about other dogs coming in and sniffing because she may feel it's far too much of an intimate affair and not so much of a hey, let me smell who you are through your bottom end, but like, hey, baby, what's cooking? You want to go out Saturday night? And she might be like, I'm not into this. And so like her fur comes up and all that stuff. So I can't say conclusively, but that could definitely be part of it.
Question number 7 comes from Emma. Emma says, I feel terrible.
Don't feel terrible.
After all you helped me,
Okay, feel terrible.
You all helped me to create the perfect dog. I haven't followed as much. And action.
Boom. So I've got a minute here. I'm going to savor this one. Emma.
Emma.
What's up with that, Emma?
How dare you?
We extend our best, our most gracious, our most generous, our most insightful, our most wisdom-packed information. You take it, you run with it, you implement it, you create magic, and then you just fade away. You walk out of our lives.
We've been talking about you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about you with my therapist. I don't know about Laura,
I
but
definitely have been talking about you with my therapist.
yeah, I mean, pain has been involved in this. So we're happy you're back, and we're going to allow you the opportunity to rebuild the relationship. My therapist said, I'm going to set some boundaries, but I'm also going to leave the door open.
Poor Emma.
So we'll see how we do.
Just kidding, Emma.
But we're happy to have you back.
We're totally kidding. You don't need to.
No, I'm not kidding.
bad.
We're happy to have you back.
Was she a fixture before?
Yeah.
Emma,
Oh,
yeah.
well, now Emma's going to send you some
Emma,
stuff
I'm
like,
sorry, I can't.
like, hey, you don't remember me.
I can't remember if she hasn't followed
Yeah,
as
we
much.
did some stuff and gave her some good advice, and then
okay,
she rode
Emma.
off into the sunset.
Well, I'm glad that you have a perfect dog.
I'm glad you can go to the sunset
Yeah,
with your dog,
exactly.
right?
You
So
said,
we're happy.
After you all helped me.
We're just
create a perfect
hard-timing
dog.
you.
Yeah,
We're
totally
hard-timing you.
joking. Great to have you back. I'll have to look back into that.
Okay.
Question
You know
number
what we
8.
need is an egg timer. That would be great.
That would be great.
Full tension. You
Or
can
we
hear it
just-
like tick, 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 tick. And no, to add some pressure.
All right, we have
You
question.
just want to give it a periscope.
Yes. Question number 8 comes from Jill Gronemeyer.
Hi, Jill
Jill
Gronemeyer.
says, walking our 4-month-old golden retriever has become increasingly difficult and walks are not much full with him pulling. Is it okay to let him run free, supervised on a long lead in the backyard for exercise, or what's the alternative to getting out the puppy energy? Woo, good thing he's so cute.
Jill, I have a strange feeling that you haven't watched a lot of the Good Dog Q&As.
Jill, that's very true.
Now, that's not to
Fine.
trash you, but that's just to say that if you follow our stuff, you know that like the right tools, the right approach, the right structure, the right all that good stuff is essential to our program. And here's the deal. This 4-month-old or whatever it is, cute, 4-month-old golden pup that's a wreck to walk, guess what? He's going to become a bigger wreck to walk. The stronger he gets, the heavier he gets, the more pattern he gets, the more hellacious those walks are going to get, to the point where you can't take him anywhere. You're going to be incredibly limited, right? So here's my strategy. Fit your dog with a Herm Springer. Go, and you're going to be like, oh my God, a prong collar. Get your dog a Herm Springer 2.25, which is small. You can order it in a bunch of different places. Don't go to Petco if you can help it. And get...
Because they don't carry a Herm Springer.
Yeah, and they're not as good. But if you have to, you have to. But basically what we want is one of the smaller gauge for your smaller dog, and we want to teach your dog how to walk on a prong collar, right? Laura can link up the videos for that, and we have some really great prong collar videos that are for free on our do-it-yourself part of our website. And what I would suggest for you is let that dog, you want to do that stuff in the morning, put the dog on the long line, let it run and be bananas for 15-20 minutes, and then guess what? Structure time. Prong collar goes on, thresholds, boom. Immaculate heel, boom. Walk like this, don't pull, be an angel. And now we've got a great dog. And as they mature, you still have a great dog that you can include in your life, instead of one of these Goldens that like we lock outside every time Grandma comes over because he knocks Grandma over. Cool?
All right, cool.
I made it
Good
through
luck
that
with
one.
that. All right, question number 9. We've got Cat Lady Coco. Cat Lady Coco says, hi, I've been watching your videos. This is on Instagram. And you recently mentioned showing less affection to a bratty dog. Our dog is a 2-year-old pit mix that's currently in training using an e-collar too. We are seeing his behavior very slowly improve. However, he's so whiny. He cries over everything. Therefore, I was wondering if showing less affection and no longer helping him, allowing him access to things like our bed would help. Thank you.
What are your thoughts?
Cat Lady Coco, you're awesome. First of all, let me make sure this is on. I think that you're awesome, that you guys are, this sounds like it's like you guys are doing the thing, 2-year-old pit mix. That's going to be a crazy challenge, fun challenge for you without tools. Yes, the answer to your question is yes. So a lot of these dogs get almost like paid for being whiny, you know? They're whining and they're like this and that, but they still get bed, they still get like all the good stuff. So basically you're like, you want, that whininess can come from a lot of dependency, a lot of brattiness, kind of like demanding attention stuff. Entitlement, yeah. So you want to, as you guys are training, especially at 2 years old, when this is like, this is the period where they test all the boundaries, you definitely want to limit all access. Right now, it's not forever, but limit access to the bed, limit access to the couch, limit tons of unearned affection. Just do more structure, rules, leadership, just like you would with young kids, you know, and as they get older, things can loosen up because they have a good foundation, so.
So for me, and my Indian food, dramatically remove affection, 0 bed, correct the whining and crying with the e-collar. I think she's got the dog on e-collar, right?
Got the e-collar,
right? So not only do we remove these things that are contributing to the delinquency of a minor dog, but you have the ability to correct and say, I don't like this, whether the dog's in place, on a mat, in the backyard, in the front yard, in your bed, whatever. Well, it's not going to be in the bed. But I want you to correct the dog with the e-collar and let the dog know unequivocally it's not allowed. Every dog that comes in here, or I'd say 9 out of 10 dogs that come in here, bark, whine, cry, and carry on in the crate or in place. And our first order of business for the first 2-3 days is get rid of that, because it's a negative, toxic state of mind. And if you don't address that, you create this needy, pushy, dependent dog that Laura's talking about, and it just spirals and spirals and spirals.
You can do all the training in the world, but that stuff, that relationship stuff, not being shored up, that's when we get dogs in. So it's so cool you're doing e-collar right now and you're knocking that out, but make sure the other side of it is awesome too. It's kind of like going to the gym without doing any dieting. You're going to struggle, you know?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, cool. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I hope that helps. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you, Coco the Cat Lady.
Coco the Cat Lady.
Question number 10. This comes from
That's a hard one.
From Kabza MK, I'm gonna say, from Insta. So he says, I've got husky.
Got an Aussie.
Yeah, I think, sorry. I have an 18-month Australian Shepherd dog who is not getting along with my boyfriend's husky puppy. He got the husky when he was 8 weeks old, and now the dog is 3.5 months old. Ooh. He gets along with the dog outside the yard on and off, but then sometimes just randomly want to attack the puppy. He's never gotten along with the puppy in the house, so we have to completely separate them. I don't trust my Aussie at all when it comes to leaving them both in the yards by themselves. How would you go about getting my Aussie to accept the husky puppy?
Well.
Quickly.
Okay, quickly. So here's what I do, and you may or may not dig this, but if this was my dog, for one thing, I think you've probably got an entitled, empowered, somewhat spoiled Aussie.
Yeah,
right?
Probably because it's been the only dog in the house.
Right.
Yay,
I'm the
just
king of the
gets to whatever
castle,
he
as
wants.
Borat
Yeah,
would say.
exactly.
And your dog is probably getting too much affection, and I could be wrong, but typically this is what we see: too much affection, too much access to personal space, too much access to all the other furniture and anywhere else they want to go, too much freedom, not enough structure, not enough rules, and absolutely not enough consequences for crappy behavior.
Running the show. And Aussies are really good at running the show. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like they step up, they're like, oh, no one else is doing it?
Cool.
I got this.
I got this.
Because they're that kind of breed, too.
Yeah,
so.
they're smarty pants, right? So those are all the things that I'd go after initially, and then I'd get a dressage whip. I would pick it up from like Horse and Tractor Supply or whatever it's called, or Amazon.com. Why do Amazon.com? Like no one's ever heard of that before. It's so funny.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
http://
And there's just a million places you can get a dressage whip, and a lot of people feel like dressage whips are like mean, cruel, nasty.
Spelled dressage.
Yeah, and we use them, and a ton of balance trainers we know use them specifically for like for dog interaction issues, right? For socialization, for problem behavior, things like that. Now, what I would do is I'd get that dressage whip. I would be mindful of all the things I just told you about: affection, freedom, training, rules, consequences, accountability for your Aussie to get the state of mind right. Now, with that moving in conjunction with the other corrections for naughty business with the dressage whip, as soon as you see your Aussie go after the puppy in a crappy way, all you have to do is say no and whop. Wrap that Aussie on the rump with that dressage whip. We're not trying to kill it, we're not trying to hurt it, we're not trying to destroy its world, but we are trying to say that choice right there, absolutely unacceptable. And every time you do it, the consequence is gonna suck. So let's make some better choices. What do you say? So that's really how I would go about that. And we've had so many clients like pick up a dressage whip and they feel kind of funky about it. They'll pick one up for $12 and they're like, yeah, all the chaos in my house is gone. All I have to do is like pull out the dressage whip. Anybody gets nutty and they're all like, oh, hey, sorry, I didn't mean it, right? So we've got training the Aussie, right? All that stuff. I don't want to like go in circles here. Dressage whip. Think about it as such an easy thing. Your dog, like it's such, I can see it in my mind's eye. Your Aussie starts to give the puppy a little stare or something like that. No, and whop. And find enough pressure with that whip that dog goes, holy mackerel. And because he's got all that fur, you might need a little bit of extra pressure. Like pitties, they don't have a lot of fur. They might have, less.
We gotta roll this up. Let me just.
Can I finish my statement?
In.
Hang on one second, lady. Peanut butter girl.
Very important to
So
say.
I know I'm going to let you in. So train the Aussie, create boundaries, watch affection. Like if this dog is feeling entitled, affection, access to your personal space, and all the furniture stuff is going to only escalate that and make competition and possessiveness be a problem between the puppy, because your dog is probably viewing the puppy as competition to his world, right? And puppy should be getting a pass. Puppy should be like, oh, he's a puppy, I'll give him a pass.
It's not the best news to hear that an adult dog is being rude to a puppy like that.
And rude is an understatement.
So we'll wrap this up because we've got to start speed round. But basically, my one last note about your situation, Gobsmack, however you say your name.
Gobsmack?
Doesn't it say?
No, it's not gobsmacked.
Gobzamp.
I'm gobsmacked by your peanut butter consumption. That's the way to use it.
Fully train that Aussie on e-collar and make that stuff go away. And I'll tell you why. And this is no scare tactic because I don't even know where you are. I don't know anything. You, in 9 months, we see you and your boyfriend sitting on our couch on opposite ends of the couch because they hate each other at this point because boyfriend's like, now my puppy is dog aggressive because your dog.
Or he got really injured.
Or he got injured. Yeah, of course. If he got injured and now he doesn't trust dogs. He was a puppy. He was a sweet puppy before. Now they're fighting in the house. Mm-hmm. We have to separate. You're already separating them when you have a puppy. I'm telling you, that husky puppy turns into a husky. And then the husky's like, oh yeah? And then they get into it and it's bad news. So in 9 months, y'all could be sitting on our couch telling us this and spending oodles of dough, or you could just spend tons of time e-collar training that Aussie, correcting for any snottiness, totally locking it down. I would say, if you want to do e-collar, full prong collar, get our DVDs, get our 2 DVDs, because the PDF has like board and train package.
And they're now available.
Both hard copy. Or you can do our free videos, no doubt in that. But the reason why I say the DVD is because we have a PDF that literally like would put your Aussie through a board and train. Yeah. So that's kind of like, get a dressage whip, or if you want to save $5,000 down the line, your relationship and not having to rehome one of the dogs possibly, because this is always a precursor to something that we see down the line, and it's not a scare tactic. We just want the best for you.
Yeah, and let me just add one thing is that you can always start small.
Yes.
Get the dressage whip.
Totally.
Bring back the affection, bring back all the freedom and all of the entitlement stuff.
Yes.
And give that dog a correction, because like there's a lot of dogs that have never been told no in a way that matters. You might do 1 or 2 corrections and that might change your world.
Yes.
If it doesn't, what this girl just said, super important, because otherwise us or another trainer will be seeing you, or you'll be getting rid of one of your dogs, or you'll have the really great situation is like, we have a separate house with baby gates everywhere and they all live like, and it's the worst in the world.
I bet your Aussie is, because Aussies are smarty pants, I bet your Aussie is 1 e-collar program away from being a great dog who can handle having that puppy in the house.
I like your style. I like your style. Nice
All
work,
right,
lady.
guys.
Yep. We out.
We're out.
Thanks so much, Periscope. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
I know
joining.
there's only there's 19. There's some folks there.
Cool, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for all the support and the awesome questions. We love you all, and we will see you soon. All right.
All right.
Order the e-collar DVD.
Yes, the hard copy's here.
It's here. It's the best. 5 hours, not 10. 5 hours. See you guys. Bye.